you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest guests?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan?
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR Indy car? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Good morning. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood coming at you. And I just got done with the Best in the Desert Parker 425, and I am still a little bit sore a couple days later, but it's to be expected. I'm sure you are walking through life just a walking, piece of worn-out flesh at this point, right, Hood?
Yes and no. I mean, I am you physically get taken a beating, that's for dang sure. But I don't got time to be tired, Jim. This lifestyle I absolutely love, so I just suppress it. It's all suppressed in there. Like, I'm going to be like my dad. Once I slow down, then I'm going to feel it. But I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah, that's kind of me. It's like, whatever, rest when you're dead. We do have a awesome show. Thanks to everybody tuning in. We got Best in the Desert Parker 425 winner Harley Letner. It's been, I look back, I think it was like 2013 since the last time I had Harley on air. We grew up together, so this is going to be a fun one. We got Chris Leone with Red Bull GRC. They dropped their schedule a week or so back. Finally getting caught up with him. We're going to get in the loop on all things rallycross. And then we got my buddy Brad from Checkers Racing. He was in the Parker 425 this weekend. He's also part of an off-road club I'm a member of, so we're going to talk a lot of off-road today. We got some Supercross fan questions, a whole lot more. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off yet another show. I've got to give my token plug to my podcast, Project Action. So those of you who have been rating, reviewing, subscribing, thank you very much. Those of you who haven't, please go over there to iTunes and make sure you rate, review, subscribe. Listen into Project Action. I don't know, we cover a little bit of everything. And somehow we're at the top of the iTunes chart, so we must be doing something right. But this show is at the top of the iTunes chart as well, so that must mean you guys like Amy Hood a whole lot, because I know you don't tune in for me. But buttering you up, Hood. I'm buttering you up.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are.
So I got some crazy stories. You get all these crazy stories because you're racing every weekend, right? So
I have crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
You aren't friends with me. So I have a private Facebook account where I only have like 90 friends, and it's like people really close to me. You're not my friend, but for some reason I've sent you friend requests and you never answered them, so I guess you don't like me. But anyways, I posted this privately, but I haven't been public with it. But it was a pretty wild weekend. I was pretty pissed. So on my first lap, uneventful, whatever, ran a really solid lap. I don't know, I think I passed like 25, 30 cars on the first lap, something like that. Second lap, my brother drove, had a few little electrical issues. Anyways, I get in on the third lap and it's dark, right? And I'm going down the wash about 80 miles an hour. And, there's about 10,000 people on the side of this wash, watching us. And it stretches for like 7-8 miles, right? And there's just thousands of people packing the walls, and everybody's got campfires, stuff like that. I'm going down the wash, and all of a sudden, from the side of the wash, I see this streak go across, and it went in the cab of the truck because we don't have windshields. And it exploded inside. Somebody had shot a skyrocket and aimed it at my truck. It went into the cab, and I sit in the middle, and right to the right of me, a fireworks exploded, and it scared the living daylights out of me. If I would have had mind about me, I probably would have pulled the race truck over and beat the crap out of somebody. But, I mean, stuff like that just isn't funny. That is scary. So there was that. And then some farmer and I'll throw him under the bus. So the Saudi Arabians bought this farm out there on the far end of the course, right? So if you're from Saudi Arabia and listen to this, sorry, but I don't want to group you all. But this guy, I don't know if he hates off-road racing or what, but anyways, in the dark at the start of lap 3, we run right by his farm, right? First 2 laps, 270 or 80 miles go by, or maybe more than that. I don't know what it is, but and everything's fine, right? Well, the last lap, it's like 9, 10 o'clock at night, pitch black. I'm out in the middle of nowhere going along this farm. I go around a corner, and this farmer had gone as soon as it got dark and flooded the course, so it was 3 foot deep of water. What? So I go around this corner, and all of a sudden my truck is in a lake, and the water comes up through the floorboard. My driving shoes get soaked, and then the water comes over the hood of the truck, floods the inside. My suit gets soaked. My gloves get soaked. My shield gets completely covered covered in mud, and I'm standing on the gas so I don't get stuck because I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I don't want to spend the night in a lake. And so I'm just on it. I can't see because there's mud all over everything coming through. I finally get through it. It took me about 10, 15 seconds to get through, and then everything is soaked, so I can't dry my shield because normally you wipe your shield with the inside of your dry glove, right? So I literally had a muddy shield covered in everything until I was holding my hands up in the air out the front window to try and get the glove to dry enough that I could finally kind of dry my thing off. That took another 10, 15 miles, but it was pretty wild. It was, and then there was reports of guys shooting earlier in the race, taking water balloon slingshots, filling water balloons with gasoline and shooting them at race cars on the course. I'm going, what is wrong with people? Seriously.
Why?
I don't know. It was a wild race, but I don't know, man. It was definitely eventful for me, that's for sure. But we finished. Yeah, so I finished though, so I guess all good. I can't complain. There was a bunch of people who didn't, so I think we're like 21st out of 55 officially in my class. So I don't know. So not horrible, not good, but we finished. So there you go. That's my story for the weekend, Hud.
Wow. Well, I mean, I don't have anything really wild and crazy like that. Usually, I mean, a lot of these cities that we're in, I'm in this, central USA, so it's pretty cold. It's, not the best. But I can say I did experience my very first Super Bowl in America.
In America?
And, wow, let me tell you that. I mean, that was interesting. I was in Kansas City this weekend racing. I mean, it was an okay weekend. I'm learning how emotional. I was going to make a post about this, actually, but I don't think a lot of people would really get it, what I mean by saying that monster trucks are emotional. Do you understand what I mean by that, Jim, without me even going further into details, that Monster Jam is emotional?
Well,
and it's because it is so up and down. I mean, I am not in control of the fan judges, some cities I'm going to go to, and you're going to get digger screwed, it's called, because, this grave digger is the truck everybody wants to come and see. And, there's a lot of things, and I've kind of learned this stepping into your realm of trophy truck racing and being at the Mint 400 and even listening to all these awesome guests that we've had on, when they talk about going into, the lead at the last lap and then boom, their truck breaks completely out of their hands. It's nothing that their skill and ability took it into any play. And, it's unfortunate that way that is the four-wheel side of the world, of the industry. And so for me, transitioning from two wheels, and I am completely in control, other than if I do have bike trouble, but it's very slim to none that ever happens. But ultimately, I'm responsible for my success. And in Monster Jam, it's not really that way. We work together with my team and my crew and the trucks and the crowd and the fans, and it's a lot bigger picture, and it's a lot harder to get on top. And it's been real emotional for me because I'm competitive. I want to win. I was second in points. I dropped down to third right now, but only a couple points behind. But I had a little bit of a rough weekend, and I'm going to let you know that it was emotional. I was mad.
Well, I guess when you don't get mad, then people start worrying, right? Because
I do think I race and drive and compete in everything with a lot of passion and heart because I genuinely, absolutely am obsessively in love with what I do. But I want to be great. I want to be one of the best.
Yeah. Well, it's totally out of your wheelhouse, too, though. I mean, it's coming in, it would be like me going and, I don't know, racing sprint cars or something. Not to say I couldn't figure it out, but it would take a little bit of time, and so I think that's, obviously you do really well on, the ATVs and stuff like that, but I think the whole monster trucks and razors and stuff, I mean, it's still, you're getting really good, but it's still fairly new to you,
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm still better now in the monster truck than I am. Well, obviously the razor, I stuck in that thing. We need to get some serious practice under my belt. Damn, I'm struggling with that. But the Monster Jam truck, actually, I've been consistently winning wheelies. I won wheelies on Friday night and do really good in donuts. You guys have seen on social media. But, man, I'm the save master. I think that's going to be kind of called my new, everyone's kind of got their little showmanship trick up their sleeve that they're good at doing. I'm great at, pushing that truck to its limits, getting it like almost backwards and like flipping it into reverse and making a save. Like I love doing that. It's fun. And the crowd goes wild because they think you're going to crash, but you actually save it. And it's actually really hard to do that. Like, you got to really be mentally, you got to be so conscious of what's going on and what you're doing and so aware in that truck, because you got to see where you are in the sky and like kind of where your point is. And then you got to, you know, not only did you just launch in the air in a 12,000-pound piece of, you know, steel and metal machine, but you got to flip that thing in reverse, and then when you land, you know, you got to baby that throttle back. Like, it's just so many pieces of the puzzle. It's so fun to learn, Jim, and I think every weekend I come out learning more and actually becoming a way better driver, and just, it's such a fun process.
Yeah, that's me. Anytime I'm anything, whether it be a RZR or a rally car up at Dirtfish or, you know, trophy truck, like every time I'm in, I learn something. Truck does something, you react to something, you know, or with the tuning. I mean, every time I'm in, it's a learning experience, and, you know, you never stop learning. But we got to take a short break, and when we come back, we got my buddy Brad with Checkers Racing. He's going to be calling into the show and talking a little off-road Park 425. So we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, my fellow checker and good friend, Brad from Checkers Racing. Brad, I keep calling you Brad from Checkers Racing because you and I have been friends for like 5 years, and I still don't know how to perfectly pronounce your last name, dude. You gotta give it to me here. That way I can get this thing rolling off the tongue.
It's Brad Benma.
Benma. That's what I thought. It's just, I don't know, the way the letters go in, and that's how I've been saying it is Benma, but I just want to make sure before we do it for God and everybody on the radio show that I had it right, you know?
It's all good. I've gotten a lot of other Brad with Cops, Brad with Checkers, Brad with THR. It's all the same.
Yeah. Well, that was what I was going to say, man. You are a man in many hats. Like every race, it's like, which hat is Brad going to be wearing? Obviously, you're always wearing the checker hat, but you've kind of carved out your niche in this industry, man. You've always got people calling.
I've been fortunate. I've gotten some opportunities in this industry to kind of progress and make my own name for myself, and it's worked out rather good. And now as you said, I always wear that checker hat, and that's my pride.
Yeah. Well, let's we got to talk about Parker 425. I want to talk a little bit about Checkers before that, because I know I've talked about Checkers for years here on the show, and I've talked a little bit about it, but I know you've you spent some time as Checkers president, and tell us a little bit about the club, because I don't think what people we get people from all different forms of motorsports listening into this, but everybody knows that off-road desert racing is kind of my background and what I love, but Checkers, we've been around for so long, and I don't think people realize the legacy when we talk about Checkers and the pit support and the champions that have been Checkers.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going on our 43rd year as a club, and even before that, we basically evolved from the Checkers Bike Club, which runs District 37 and up in District 38 and all the desert races out here, the National Hare and Hound Series. And we evolved into a car club, and we've been some of our founders then decided, okay, they're going to branch off from being kind of with age comes a cage kind of deal.
Yeah.
And they started the car club, and we've been around for, like I said, for 43 years. And I was fortunate enough to be the 2016 president, and I'm also the 2017 president.
Hey, you're doing something right when you get re-upped for another year on a 1-year deal, man.
Right. That's what everybody else says. It's like, I must be doing something correct.
Yeah, either that or nobody wants your job, and they're like, please keep it, man. We don't. Being president of the Checkers Club is, I don't know. It's got to be gratifying, and at the same time, you got to be pulling your hair out, man. We've got definitely a good mix of members.
The best way to put it is it's like herding cats.
Yeah, that would be the truth. But Checkers, man, we had a solid weekend out here at the Parker 425. I know got the sweep. I know Joe, he had his Class 1 car over at the race shop, and I don't even think we knew if that thing was going to make it to the start line, and he ended up taking a podium, man.
Yeah, that was amazing. We've actually had a great start to our entire year, but definitely this weekend, with Joe finishing third in Class 1500, and then Chad Cummings finishing second, and then obviously Harley Letner taking the win. But it was awesome, and it's just to have a weekend like that, and there's so much carnage out there, and everybody had issues. Harley had issues. Chad had a couple problems, and so did Joe. Joe started out with problems, like you said, at your shop, changing a converter and pump and everything else. So it was, but it was awesome. We all got kind of powered through and got to the finish, and we ended up on the podium with 3 cars. Yeah,
it was so brutal. And I honestly, I've been driving the Parker race for I don't know how many years now. Well, I've raced probably over 15 Parker 425s at this point, and that was absolutely the most brutal one I can remember. I think on the last lap, the third lap, I was going through the Jeep trail, and I'm like, if there is hell on earth, it's right here, right now. It was so bad. I at one point, I'm in a trophy truck, and I'm literally rock crawling. And I'm going, I was going maybe 5-6 miles an hour over these boulders, and I'm going, my gosh, there's a truck that'll do 130 miles an hour, and it was that bad.
And that's the crazy thing about Parker this year. There's a little bit of everything. I mean, we had a bunch of mud. We had lots and lots of sand, which we kind of expected that, lots of rocks. And then there was just a lot of vegetation that I felt that got pushed into the course as the race went on too. And, it just, there's a lot of, like how you're saying earlier, about, even the spectators kind of throwing in a little, not so good element into there as well. But, we had pretty much everything you could think of. And it's even from down in Mexico, you don't see half that stuff down there.
No. And I think this race, there was, I told him, because I talk with the chamber director here in Parker quite frequently, and I told her, I said, whatever your guys' estimates are for, like, spectators at the race, I said, you need to double it. Because I said, I didn't go 1 mile around this, I think it was a 140-mile loop that I didn't see people. Like, there was remote places on the course, and I don't even know how they got there, but I'd go around a corner, and here's a group of, like, 20 racers from some UTV club, and there was no trail even getting into where they were at, but they were all sitting on the side of the road. I'm like, whoa, where'd you guys come from? Like, I've never seen that many people around the desert. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I couldn't believe how many people were out there and, cheering you on and everything else. So it was, I had a blast out there too. I was riding with Ray Griffith in his class 1500 car. We lost the motor on lap 1, but it was still a blast.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Ray was one of those. I mean, when he's in his Class 1 car, I know he used to run full-time. He's gone and done the short course. I know he's a good friend of Amy and mine, but he saved my life last year. I'll tell you that at the Mint 400. Not literally, but I owe Ray a lot of beer, let's put it that way. But I ran out of gas on the interstate, and he turned around, and it was one of those where somebody brings you gas, like they've got to go all the way back to Vegas and then come around. So he, like, literally added an hour onto his trip to bring me five gallons of gas. So literally I owe Ray a lot of drinks, let's put it that way. And Ray can drink. So no, I was wondering what happened to him, because anytime he's in a Class 1 car, I mean, he's one of those guys immediately, Ray's in Class 1, all right, he's one of the guys to beat. And he's just that guy, and I was wondering what happened to him. So it was motor with you guys, huh?
Yeah, we were coming into Midway on lap 1, and we lost the power steering belt, and we ended up changing that, got back in the car, and a little while later we dropped a cylinder. We just thought maybe that the power steering belt kind of wrapped across one of the plug wires and kind of pulled it off. But it ended up being we either cracked a piston or sucked a ring, because there was a white and blue smoke out the exhaust when we pulled into Midway. So instead of getting stranded out in the middle of the desert, we decided to call it and just, and we're coming to the Mint better than ever. So that's, me and him were just talking here a minute ago, and he's like, dude, car's already got the motor out of it. Training's already out. We're going to the Mint. We're going hard.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. The rest of the car is almost fully prepped. You got, 30 miles, I guess, test miles on the rest of the car. It's just the engine that needs repaired now. So, yeah. I don't know. It's you guys are going to be good at the Mint, man. That's good. I'm stoked to see Ray back with General Tire this year too. That's always a good thing. So, being back on there, and we've been testing that new X3 too, and it's going good. I mean, actually, I like it, and so does he. And so we're going to try and see if we can run it at the Mint and see if we can put it on top of the box. Yeah, I know. I haven't run the X3 on my trophy truck yet. I've got it on street cars and on a bunch of my Razors, and I've been so impressed with them. But I don't know when they're going to pull the trigger and let Jerry and I run them on our trophy trucks yet. But I think it's coming. It's just, I don't know. I think they're letting everybody else run them before us. I don't know. But I guess let us try and break them before you guys can. Well, I think that's it. They've kind of stepped it up, and it's like, we're going to let the guys with 500 horsepower run them. Now we're going to let the guys with 700 horsepower run them. Now we'll let the guys with 800 horsepower, and they keep passing the test, so that's a good thing, And I think it's coming to us, and they're here pretty quick. They're going to go, all right, this is the tire you guys are running. So that's always a good thing. But they've just that tire, man. I've been part of the development for the past couple of years, and they've done their homework on it. Let's put it that way. So I think it's definitely going to be a game changer when they get everything dialed in. So absolutely, yeah. So Mint 400 up next. What's up next for Checkers? When is San Felipe this year? I'm confused on the dates. Is that before or after the Mint?
It's actually after the Mint this year. It's the weekend. It's the weekend of the 23rd, I think.
Okay.
So it's 2 weeks after the Mint. Okay. But yeah, I mean, we got, like I said, Checkers started out with a great start to the season. We raced a couple of the club members raced a race down the San Felipe Mayhem 150, and we came out with 3 podiums with Checkers cars and also a win in Class 11. And then last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, we had another checker race out in Barstow, the Slash X Duel in the Desert, and we ended up getting Joe David, who actually finished third at Parker. He ended up taking the win in the overall at the Moore race. And then this weekend with Parker, we got another win. So hopefully we can go into the pretty much battle at Prim this weekend. It's another checker race, and get a couple wins there and be on top going to the Mint. And usually we're thinking we're going to have right around 10 to 15 vehicles that are going to take the start at the Mint. We're definitely going to participate in the Pit Crew Challenge again that I myself and 2 of my other fellow members have won in the last 2 years, or actually 3 years. We're going on for a 4-peat. And we're hopefully you can MC it like you have the last couple of years. That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I know. I think that's the plans. I don't know. I got to circle back with the Martellis, but hey, we're running short on time, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to call in, and we need to do it more often, a lot more often, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let me know what we can do, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for having me, Jim.
Yep. Thanks a lot, Brad. And we're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, my buddy Harley Letner, winner of the Best in the Desert Parker 425 this past weekend. How's everything going, Harley?
Pretty good, Jim. How are you, bud?
Oh, good. Just had our buddy Brad on the line talking a little checkers and things like that. But, man, it was definitely a good weekend for the checkers, sweeping Class 1. But, dude, you were running there for the overall so dang close, dude. It was you had a heck of a run going, man.
Yeah, I was started out good. We just ran a good, clean lap the first lap and ended up being the first physical car in the main. I got a flat coming right under the bridge. Kind of had to link it in, but still didn't get past. And then Bryce and Austin got back by me in the pits, and they both had issues on the second lap. And I started losing the alternator getting through the goat trail. I was super cautious not to get a flat because I was running like 10 volts, and she wouldn't start if I got a flat. So Rob Knott got me under the bridge on the way in. So we were second physical car into the pits as well, just trying to hunt that supercross down, and then had a very long alternator change and put me back quite a ways going the third lap.
Yeah. Well, and, talking about that, I mean, I was there. I mean, you were still in the hunt, and you pulled in the pits and was like, oh, crap, because we were, I don't know, a couple down from you. But, I mean, you a lot of guys, you've seen a lot of the Class 1 guys move to trophy truck now. And, and there's a couple of you guys, you for one, and I know Ray Griffith, he's come back to Class 1 and, from the short course stuff, and it looks like he's going to run full-time this year. But, I mean, a guy like you, when you're running against Lofton and Mack and guys like that, they've got more horsepower. I mean, where is it where you're making up the time? I mean, because those guys, they get in that high horsepower stuff and they just check out. So, I mean, where is it? I mean, where, you've got to approach the race differently than those guys in the trucks do. I mean, where is it where you make up all the time on them and you've got a shot to overall things?
Yeah, dude, to be honest with you, I don't know, because I've driven trophy trucks, and I don't think there's any way a buggy should keep up with those things. They got more travel, more travel, more horsepower, everything. So I don't know, maybe I think just in the tight technical washes, up towards pit 2 and all that, maybe I was making time up there and just being able to cut faster, being in a lighter, more nimble car. But, I mean, to run that pace up front, I was giving everything I had in that car to try to run up it, because first lap I had Bryce breathing down my neck, and they're giving me time splits, and that made me nervous. Second lap, they're telling me, Mac was 18 seconds behind me, 20 seconds behind me, and I don't think I could have drove that thing any harder. They were, breathing down my neck.
Yeah, that's
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's got to be a little intimidating when you start hearing names like that right behind you. You're like, oh man, and like you said, you're giving it death, to try and stay ahead. And that's what's crazy about off-road, though. I mean, when you and I, kind of got into things, and especially in the unlimited classes, dude, the attrition was so high. 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't, oh, this guy's 18 seconds ahead, dude. It was just you finished, you had a good shot at a podium. Nobody really had to push. Sure. And now it's to the point where, like you're talking about, you're running 110% for 425 miles to try and get a win because everything is so bunched up, Yeah,
that's what's crazy. Like you said, 15 years ago, you finished, you were doing good. Nowadays, there's so many good teams and good drivers that you can't have a mistake or you're completely out of it. Everyone's running so good and fast, setting the pace and setting the bar really high. You almost have to have a flawless race to even get on the box these days.
Yeah, and that's That's what's crazy, and even like the Mint, I know we've seen a couple races last year where things were settled by like seconds. It's just crazy, It was like before, it was like pull into the pits and it's like, dumping fuel and changing tires, just take your time. You wanted to be quick, but it wasn't. Now it's like full on NASCAR style pit stops where, everything's on a stopwatch. Like we can't lose a second here, and things like that. It's just, I don't know, the sport's evolved. It's got kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. And it's like you said, the Mint last year, like, you go 400 miles with some of the roughest desert, and the wings comes down to seconds. It's just insane. That's unheard of.
Yeah,
it's crazy how big this sport and how evolved it's gotten, fits and everything. Like how the Herbst guys are changing tires and feet in 25 seconds.
Yeah, that's
pretty much NASCAR stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you guys, how's this been with you? I know you guys, for a long time, Letner Racing, you guys kind of ran under your own banner. I know recently you teaming up with U3. How things have been going over there? You guys, obviously you moved into one of the best teams in the business. They've got, great support. I saw the helicopter up in the air. It's had to have been really, really kind of fun for you to move into a position like this. Yeah,
it was great. I had an amazing time running with my family and my grandpa, just keeping our tradition alive from being like fourth generation, but just grandpa sold the business and the money got kind of bad, and we knew Patty, the owner of U Theory, for quite a number of years, and came down and met with her and Darren, and they offered me a job and offered to bring my car along and have me be a driver, and it's just, I couldn't be more happy. The results have been shown since I started that how great this team is and how into racing they are, and the support, the pit crew and everything. It's just it's a phenomenal team. They're all about racing, and it's just, I couldn't be more happy to be brought onto a team like this and just be good and run good up for them and try to prove my worth and keep a job.
Yeah. Well, I know everybody, everybody in the off-road world, you go on the forums or whatever, it's like, when are we going to see Harley running in a trophy truck? We want to see him in a trophy truck. He's fast in a Class 1 car. Well, now you're moving into U Theory, and you've actually got opportunity possibly to move into a trophy truck. We're going to see you, tag team it with the U Theory boys in one of those at some point this year.
I would love to. That's obviously the ultimate goal in off-road racing is to get into the premier classic trophy trucks, But I think every race I'm slowly driving myself out of a trophy truck by doing so well in the buggy. But, I try to convince the boss that it'd be easier in a truck. So we'll see. I'm hoping there's talk about 2018 building me a new truck and coming out and playing with the big boys in the truck class.
Nice. So what's the schedule look like for you guys this year in the Class 1 car?
We're just going to run the complete Best in the Desert Series in the one car and try to chase a championship.
Okay, well, shoot, you're in the driver's seat right now after the first round. It's always nice to get a win or a podium the first round and know, hey, man, we're sets the tone for the rest of the year, and you're the guy to beat now.
Yeah, thanks. It's definitely a confidence booster to come out on top at the first round. Parker's one of the biggest races we have and one of the roughest. Every driver comes out to that one at the Mint, so I'm hoping to do well at the Mint and just continue the momentum and hopefully get that number one plate at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, you're like me. You were a local Parker boy. You grew up here, dude. I've been around that course my entire life. So have you. I'd say out of all the guys in off road, there's maybe a handful of us that know that course better than anybody. And you and I are both in that same boat. In the years, and thinking back, I've probably raced the Parker 425 15, 16 times now. I don't think I've ever seen it that rough. It was just, lap 3 was hell, dude.
It was absolutely the roughest I've ever seen. This is my first year doing this 2-run format because I had to skip last year. And I made a comment to my co-driver right around the goat show afterwards. I think the first lap we were doing 60, 70. The last lap we were doing 23 miles an hour, and that was almost too fast because it was beating the crap out of us.
Yeah.
The course deteriorated so bad and got insanely rough. I've never seen it that bad ever. Like you said, I've been racing it since 2002, and last year was the first time I missed it, and I've never seen it that bad.
Yeah, well, it's like I was telling Brad when he was on before you. I said, look, there was one point on the Jeep trail where I looked down at my GPS and it said 5 miles an hour. And I'm like, there's no freaking way that I'm going 5 miles an hour in a trophy truck in a race. But I'm like, literally, I was like, rolling over boulders and stuff. And like you said, it's like you can't go any faster than that because you feel the car's just deteriorating under you, It was madness.
Absolutely. You got to worry about tires. Then you hear the big old boulders hitting the chest. It's just like you can't bring your motor through there without ripping the car in pieces.
Yeah, it was so gnarly. But so it's like I don't know. I guess it's a good tune-up for the Mint, man, because the Mint's pretty much not forgiving at all either. So. Yeah,
absolutely. Especially with a 2-run format, I think it's going to be just as bad for us in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, that's the good and bad of it, Like I was stoked with Parker. Now we don't have to worry about the limited classes, so everybody's pretty close to running the same pace. I mean, obviously, you don't have to, you're not going to come up on a guy going 5 miles an hour, in a Jeep or something, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. But the bad is the course has already had a whole race run on it by the time we get to it. So, there's good and bad to the whole split race thing, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, it's a lot better being safer and not coming up on the guys in the dust, like, super hard. Like, I mean, I think I passed 1600s that were running slow, which was cool compared to having to go through, like, the 9 cars and 11 cars,
Yeah.
There's sections we're doing 100 miles an hour. They're doing 20 or something. That's just scary. But the downside is it makes it super rough and just beats the crap out of you and the car.
Yeah, I know, like, even today, we're a couple days gone, and I'm still a little bit sore in places, you know what I mean? It's like, man, that was a brutal course. But, yeah, man, well, congrats on the win, Harley. Seriously, man, good luck at the Mint, and, stoked to see you on top of the box at this one, and, here's to chasing that overall. I know you said a lot, you got your eyes set on the overall at the Mint, right?
Absolutely. I'm going. I'm taking Justin down for the Mint in a dune buggy.
You're going to tell him, see, Justin, man, you should have stayed in your buggy, right?
There's already rumor that they're bringing it back out to try to hunt me down, putting another driver in there. So the Mint should have a good Class 1500 field.
Yeah, it should definitely be a good one. I don't know. I think buggies at the Mint, dude. That's one of those courses with being so rough and things like that. I think there's some opportunity for a buggy to sneak in there and snag an overall. It's definitely it's not all high speed stuff.
Absolutely, it's got the tight technical stuff up through the canyon and all that, and I think it can be done. I'm gonna try to give it everything I can to prove it this year.
Yeah, how much does qualifying play into that, man? Getting the top 5, top 10 spots in qualifying.
Oh, qualifying's huge. It's you have to start up front or else you don't have a chance, like, I mean, you do, but you don't, because if you get a fast guy up front like Lofton or Jesse or Bryce, they're going to check out, like, no matter what.
Yeah.
So if you're back in 20th or 15th, you got a lot of traffic to deal through, and, like, everyone out there is equally as fast, and it's hard to catch people, especially in the Nevada desert, as dusty as it is. I think you definitely have to qualify up front to have a chance at overall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Harley. Well, I appreciate the time, buddy. We got to go to a commercial break, but we'll see you at the Mint, and I guess we'll I don't know, if you come down to Parker, give me a shout, man. We'll have a couple of beers.
All right, first, Jim. Thanks for having me on the show, dude. I'll see you at the Mint.
All right, sounds good, buddy. Thanks, Harley.
All right, buddy. See you.
See ya. All right, that was Harley Letner, your Class 1500 winner at the Best in the Desert Parker 425. Local, I guess he was a local Parker boy. Now he lives in SoCal, but he grew up here. Man, we used to BMX race together and things like that. But, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, got a little Dirtfish Rally Report coming at you and some Parker 425 results as well. All that and more here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than join Polaris in their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Grammy-nominated country sensation Trace Atkins live in concert inside the amphitheater at the Blue Water Resort and Casino Saturday, February 25th. Gates open at 2, show starts at 3 p.m. Arizona time with general admission advance tickets just $50. VIP tickets $80. Tickets on sale now. Concert goers, don't miss out on your chance to win $500 in cash and an autographed guitar following the show. Please see the club for full details. The concert that never was. See the Barbra Streisand and Frank Sinatra tribute show Saturday, February 18th inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. I get a kick out of you. Doors open at 5. Show starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time. Tickets on sale now. General admission just $20 or VIP tickets only $35. Don't miss the tribute to Sinatra and Streisand at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Going to kind of skip into a Dirtfish Rally report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And I got to give a big shout-out to Dirtfish. First of all, if you need a discount up there, use the code JBDirtfish. Give you like 15% off any classes that you book. But I don't know if you guys saw the announcement. My new helmet deal for this year with Dirtfish, bright orange badass helmet by Impact Racing and Air Tricks, the guys that do the Red Bull painting, painted it up Dirtfish style. I'm going to tell you this thing is epic. So check out my Instagram at JimBeaver15 and let me know what you think, or my Twitter. I got pictures of it up there, but man, it was awesome. Just phenomenal helmet. So thanks to Dirtfish for that and getting it all set up. But yeah, Dirtfish Rally Report, man. Big news is we had the very first ever ARA event, American Rally Association. And it was in Canada, and so David Higgins and Travis Pastrana and I guess SRT USA headed up to Canada to do a little battle with Antoine Lestage and Subaru of Canada. But solid effort, and it looks like SRT USA came out on top. It was Higgins and Pastrana with the 1 and 2 getting the best of Subaru Canada. So it was pretty solid, man. 1-2 finish at the first ever ARA event for Subaru Rally Team USA. So pretty solid stuff. Also got to give a shout out to my buddy Ryan Millen. He headed up there as well to compete. So I don't know, ARA in full swing. I think the next event, they got a little bit of a break. We got 2 national championships this year. I think Oregon Trail is next for them. Next Rally America national event is Rally in the 100-acre wood. coming up in March. So I don't know, lots of rally on tap. We got World Rally Championship also going. We got Red Bull GRC. We're going to talk about that here shortly. World Rallycross getting ready to start, man. We got lots of rally. Hopefully you're a rally fan. So we got a lot of that to talk about. In upcoming shows, start getting some drivers on and things like that, because we are Action Motorsports. But that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And normally we would right now we would be doing a killer clip from my podcast Project Action over on Podcast One, but not doing that today because I don't know, it was a little bit different of a Project Action this past week. I think you guys will enjoy it, but we did a joint interview between that and this show with Brock Hoyer, so I aired that, but also did a big segment on my good friend Dave Mira, and Dave Mira marked the 1-year anniversary of his passing. So I did kind of a tribute to him over there on Project Action, talk about, how I met him and things like that. So it was definitely, I don't know, it was just a little bit different feel. So I didn't feel right, posting that clip on air here. But I will say, Dave was a good friend, and one thing that I'm always proud of is our 200th show here. Hadn't had him on air in a while. You fans wanted to hear what Dave was up to. I reached out to him, and we did one of the last interviews that Dave had done before he passed, and so it's definitely worth the listen. It's back on episode number 200. It shouldn't be too hard to find on iTunes, my website, Spreaker, Podcast One. So you can go and check that out here. It was definitely, it was a different feel, so we didn't do a killer clip today, but doesn't mean you shouldn't be listening to Project Action, because should. Make sure and give me those ratings, review, subscribe over there on iTunes. You can listen to podcast1.com or my website. We've had everybody from Ken Block, Pastrana, Street Bike Tommy, wake surfing world champ Ashley Kidd, Sean Malto, the skateboarder. We've had Sarah Price, Chuck Yeager, Kurt Yeager. It's BMXers. We just had Nate Wessel on. Just amazing interviews, down deep, gritty stuff. Get behind the scenes of these guys, and so it's been really fulfilling for me to do that podcast. So thanks to everybody who has reviewed, rated, and if you listen to this and you want to follow from me on Instagram or Twitter, just use your username over there on iTunes when you leave your review. Put it in the review, and I will follow you back. So it's definitely a fun podcast. It's a little bit different than this show. We talk some pop culture and things like that. We'll probably talk a bit of Super Bowl this week. But I don't know. It's mostly action sports and motorsports, but we do dabble into a little bit of TV and pop culture and things like that, MMA a bit. So a little bit of everything over there at the show, but definitely a lot of fun. And thanks to all you guys who have supported it and keep tuning in. And if you're listening to this show, I guarantee you you're going to like it. And so there you go. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we got Chris Leone from Red Bull Global Rallycross. He's on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
The concert that never was. See the Barbra Streisand and Frank Sinatra tribute show Saturday, February 18th inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
I get a kick out of you.
Doors open at 5. Show starts at 6 p.m. Arizona time. Tickets on sale now. General admission just $20 or VIP tickets only $35. Don't miss the tribute to Sinatra and Streisand at the Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Switching gears right now, going to talk a little Red Bull Global Rallycross. I know made I guess an announcement on the schedule not too long ago, but we got my good buddy Chris Leone, social media content director for Red Bull Global Rallycross. I don't know, did I get that right? You wear so many hats. I don't know. I could add about 5 or 6 lines onto that job title description, I think, Chris.
Titles don't matter. It's what we do. It's what we do with them. But I'm doing really well, Jim. How are you doing?
Doing good. Just finished up the Parker 425. I know we had you out here, I don't know, what was it, a couple years ago for it. I ended up popping a motor in qualifying, so we were spectators at that event. But, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, no, it's always fun to see the desert racing stuff. It's always, fun to try and experience something a little different. Obviously, my hometown of Boston really doesn't have anything like that. We do have a parade today, but also, I'm looking out my window, and there is a lot of snow, a lot of rain, a lot of slush, so I have not been out in it.
So, speaking of Boston and the Northeast, you got to be pretty excited because Red Bull Global Rallycross finally heading back to the Northeast this year. That's got to have you pretty pumped.
I would love to take credit for it. It didn't have anything to do with me, but yes, very excited about Red Bull Global Rallycross returning to Connecticut. We've got a lot of new venues on the schedule this year, actually, and we'll be making announcements soon on what those host venues are and putting tickets on sale. But, we revealed the cities last Thursday, the general event locations. We'll be starting the season a little earlier than we have in past years. We'll be visiting Memphis for the first time on April 29th. That'll be the date of the first final of the year, rolling into Louisville. The hometown event, as you mentioned, in Connecticut right after that. That'll be a doubleheader. We'll have our first ever Canadian event, which will also be a doubleheader in the middle of June. Then following that, we'll be visiting Indianapolis for the first time, which is something that a lot of our teams and a lot of our fans are excited about. We've never been to Indy, but obviously there are a few of our teams that are based out of there, and so there should be a great crowd for that one. And then finally, rolling into the last half of the season, really, with two doubleheaders in Atlantic City and Seattle. Those were very popular events last year. And then for all the marbles, the championship in Los Angeles, just like we had in 2016. So it's a new calendar. There's some different venues that, we're going to be bringing Red Bull GRC to for the first time, some fans that we're going to be seeing for the first time, some fans that we're going to be seeing for the first time in a few years as well. But it's going to be really exciting. It's always great to kind of have a couple of changes up and be able to bring this sport of rallycross to some new fans here in the States, because the sport obviously is very much still growing here in America, and we've been working really hard to just keep it growing, and with the support of some great partners, some great drivers and teams, we've really been able to do that, and we're really, really excited about this 2017 schedule.
Yeah, well, and when are we going to, as fans, I know me, I'm looking at the calendar, and, obviously Indianapolis, everybody clamors for it to be at, at IMS there, but, I have no idea if that's in the plans or not, but then I look at Canada, and I go, man, I know this radio show, we got a ton of Canadian listeners. I know Red Bull GRC has a massive amount of Canadian fans, and I'm looking at Canada, it's like one of the biggest countries in the world as far as land territory goes, and I'm going, man, this is like, I don't know if you can be much more of a tease. Like, you've got everybody in Canada excited at this point. I mean, we could have something up in the Yukon Territory or something up by the North Pole for all we know. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, it's like, man, it's pretty, I don't know, when do you think that maybe as spring rolls around, these dates are going to start falling in and locking into place?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fans will start getting info very soon about, the actual host venues for all of these events, and tickets will start going on sale. We've got a few surprises up our sleeves. I would say it'd be fun if we just did one big cross-country race across Canada, but, you've seen these 600 horsepower rallycross supercars and these light counterparts. I mean, they burn up fuel. I don't know that we'd be able to hit every province in the Great White North, but, we could certainly try. It will be exciting, for us to go to Canada for the first time. Obviously, you have Steve Arpin, who's from Fort Francis, Ontario, and Steve is coming off of the best season of his career, was fourth in points, won a race last year, had 4 or 5 podiums along the way as well, and was pretty much in the top 3 in points the entire season until the finale in LA, when just, he had some bad luck at the end there, and his teammate Brian Deegan nipped him for 3rd place. But, it'll be really nice to get up there as well. As you mentioned, a lot of Canadian fans. So we're really excited to come, see those folks for the first time, and, there will be more information out soon. I think people will be very excited, very much looking forward to what we have up our sleeve for our first Canadian trip.
Yeah, well, and I got to ask, too, I know some of the other big off-season news that broke, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. We've heard rumors this off-season. It was a big thing, but Subaru, I think we saw some flashes of brilliance towards the end there with Atco and his qualifying runs. Announcing Atco and Patrick Sandell as their drivers, I mean, that's a pretty massive announcement for Subaru, and I know that this car, they've been doing a ton of testing. I think this is the year we see Subaru back on the podium and fighting for wins each and every round. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, talk about a big change-up, right? I mean, if you're going to try and bring somebody in who might be available, then Patrick Sandell is about the best you could do. Patrick has won races in Red Bull GRC each of the past 3 years. The only other guys to do that are Tanner Faust and Scott Speed, and we all know how well they've been doing recently. So, as far as the driver market goes, if you're trying to bring in somebody from elsewhere in the series, that's about the best move that you can make. So that's a huge, huge get for Subaru Rally Team USA. And yes, as you mentioned, Atco did a great job in the handful of events that he ran last year, grabbing what, to our knowledge, is the first pole in Subaru Rally Team's history in Red Bull GRC. We ran back the stats, and that was the first one, and he took it in the season finale in Los Angeles. So obviously that as well is a big moment for that team. As you mentioned, they've done a lot of development work. They've put a bunch of different drivers in those cars to just try and keep advancing. It's been a long and arduous process for that team, but as we've seen on the stage rally side with David Higgins and Travis Pastrana, obviously it's a championship caliber organization. Rallycross is very much a different animal than stage rally with the wheel-to-wheel contact, but that doesn't mean that some of the same concepts don't apply, and it's just kind of a matter of adapting the right ones. And, yes, as you mentioned, we saw last year that especially once they got Atco in the car starting in Atlantic City, things really started to turn around. They had a great run in Seattle with him and David Higgins. And, what I would say is kind of a home race for all the Subaru fans up in the Pacific Northwest, and, had some decent runs in Los Angeles too. So it'll be really exciting to see what Atco can do with a full season and what Patrick can do in his first full season in a Subaru.
Yeah, I agree, and I know one of the takeaways I saw from Subaru, and I don't want to turn this into the big Subaru talk, but one of the big things I'm excited about, and I know they are too, is their driver lineup, both in stage rally and rallycross, is completely crossover. I mean, you've got Higgins and Pastrana who can run and jump in GRC cars. You've got Atco and Patrick with stage rally backgrounds. So they really, I think they're going to be able to bring in, they've got 4 drivers who can completely cross over. They can all 4 help test in the different disciplines. I think it's really an amazing, lineup for 2017 for SRT USA, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in GRC, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And if the lovely guys who work on launch control are listening, you guys might want to do a little ride swap video at some point during the season. I think the fans would be all over that.
All right, before we let you go, Chris, where can people follow you guys, find out more information on Red Bull GRC and these announcements as they roll out?
Our announcements will be rolling out at RedBullGlobalRallycross.com, just as they always have been. We've got a new social media handle for this season. It is @GRC Series, so you can tag us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @GRC Series. That's the new handle, the new URL on there. We are going to be rolling things out every single week as we get closer and closer to the start of the season in Memphis.
I'm going to try and at least be out to a couple of them, hopefully more. But thanks a lot, Chris, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter @Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And, Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and, just getting through the show. Got a couple of wide open segments here, so if you got any fan questions, I know here in the next segment we're going to be taking a ton of fan questions, but if you have any fan questions, make sure and hit us up, at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I don't know if Amy reads things as much as I do, but as far as when we're live on the air. But definitely hit me up at JimBeaver15 on Twitter, and I would love to take your questions for the show. I'm already, we got some that we've been kind of sitting on, and some kind of, like critical of the show. Some of them, just asking thoughts on GRC and some of the other stuff. So, so if you've got any questions, next segment, it's going to be all questions with Amy and I, and so I don't know, we got like 5 or 6 of them in the hopper already, Hood. So I'm telling people, keep hitting us up. We got some.
I love doing questions. I just like connecting with all the fans and kind of hearing what they want to know about me or you. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, so we got some pretty good stuff for the next segment. So I don't know. Anybody that's got them, hit me up at JimBeaver15, and we will definitely get them cycled into the show. Going to talk a little Supercross, but I want to talk a little. It's like Hammers Week. Like this is like the biggest week in off-road this past week. So we had the Parker 425. Which was the kickoff to, desert racing season. It's one of probably the 2 biggest desert racing events in the United States. And then followed this entire week, it's like King of the Hammers week out there at Johnson Valley. That happens this next weekend, but we got UTV, the UTV race at King of the Hammers. That's going on tomorrow. I know our good friend Sarah Price, she's out there going to be banging doors with the boys. But we had King of the Motos happen. This is kind of up your alley, Hood, and this is the hardest motorcycle race in the world. I'm just going to say it. It is. And they actually had a night stage. I got to tell you, that's kind of crazy. Like rock crawling on a dirt bike at night. Like how much gnarlier can you get, Amy Hood? That's just, to me, that's crazy.
That would be so much fun. I just have to say, because usually back in Canada, we go to the pits, like the sand pits at night. We have a big old bonfire, and the brave ones who haven't had a couple adult beverages like to go and do some trail riding at night. And it's actually a lot of fun because you get a whole new experience. It's one thing to drive your bike in daylight and be able to see everything, but it's a whole different ball game when you got nothing. I mean, you need a headlight, obviously, But it's like you get a whole new terrain to work with that you really got to, slow down and kind of take the terrain as it comes instead of pre kind of planning out your route. But there's no way they're doing it without headlights. But, yeah, I think it'd be really fun. Like, again, there's nothing, though, Jim, that I think wouldn't be fun. Like, I mean, I'm just that type of person that I see all challenges as, like, fun obstacles. Yeah. So I probably might be a little biased.
Yeah, well, it's, I don't know, just seeing the course, I'll text you a picture of, like, the takeoff. Like, it's just gnarly what they had to go up. It was literally like, I don't know, it's nuts. But anyways, Taylor Robert, our friend Taylor, he ended up taking the win. And I don't want to talk too much about Taylor Robert because we actually have a fan question on Taylor Robert. This one was asked to me personally when I was signing autographs at the Kids Youth Center last Wednesday. But I had somebody come up that's a motorcycle fan and ask me questions about Taylor Robert because they knew he'd been on the show. So I'm like, all right, we're going to talk. Hood and I we're going to talk about that in the next deal. So I don't want to talk about Taylor too much. But Cody Webb second, Colton Haker third, and that was just the night stage. I don't know. There's a bunch of other guys. I'm looking down the list of like notable names, and Max Gersten. There's another enduro crosser guy. So, but anyways, going to the actual King of the Motos event where it's results from like 3 different races combined. Colton Haker, he took the big one. So,
nice.
Pretty solid week for him. He was I don't know, got a medal at X Games, wins King of the Motos. I don't know if you can get off to a much better start than that. Yeah,
I know that's a pretty good deal for him.
Yeah, no kidding. We haven't got to enduro season yet, and Colton Haker's already. He's somebody we gotta get him on air. He's
very multi-talented. I mean, he can jump from the snow to enduro, and he's just like an all-around very talented guy. He's going to have a very long, successful career if he keeps up exactly what he's doing right now. Like he is all the right mixtures for stardom. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I got to give a credit like a guy like Colton credit because most guys, if you're going to make a living on a dirt bike, generally the place you do it is Supercross or Motocross, right? Colton Haker's gone the tough route, and he's doing it the off-road route where he's doing enduro and enduro cross and things like King of the Motos and now snow biking. Like he's taken the back door to a career in not back door, I mean, but it's just he's taken the tougher route, man. It's hard to make a living doing work series and things like that, but he's actually doing it, so I think that's something, I tip the cap to him because it's not easy to make a career in moto the way he's doing it.
Oh, absolutely, for sure, without a doubt.
So speaking of moto, I want to switch gears, though, Hood. We'll talk King of the Hammers next week after things are over. We'll give a shout-out. UTV race coming Wednesday. If you're listening in national syndication, that's today. If you're listening live online, that's tomorrow. Mitch Guthrie Jr. Mitchie, he took the pole. He was the top qualifier for the UTV race. So big shout-out to him. Here's hoping, I don't know if he wins. I guarantee you we're having Guthrie on next week. So, or if Sarah wins, or probably chances are we're going to have the UTV winner on air next week. I'm just saying it. But got to switch gears, though. We got to talk some Supercross. I didn't actually get a chance to tune in live. I was in a trophy truck bouncing across the desert when this thing was airing. I don't know. Did you get a chance to watch it? You were jumping monster trucks, right?
Yeah, I mean, we actually play it back. Okay, we do a Supercross poll. Okay, so when I'm like jumping out of my Monster Jam truck to run to like my speedsters, and then like this. Okay, picture this: like jumping out of the truck, you got like 5 minutes, especially if not even like 3 minutes. So I'm running down to like the back hallway, at the arena, like hustling because A, I'm always late, and B, I'm always late. Okay, I'm always late. So I'm like hustling, running down the back here, trying to get ready and jump into my side-by-side. And then the guys are like pulling me, like all the crew guys and the tech guys are like pulling me in the back. And I'm thinking like, oh no, am I in trouble? And they like pull me over to a toolbox where they have a phone up and they're watching Supercross live. And because we always do polls, like a Supercross fantasy league amongst us, like the crew and some of the drivers and Monster Jam. And it's so funny because I'm like thinking I'm getting pulled aside because I did something wrong and I'm in trouble. And they pull me over to watch a screen where we can watch Supercross. And I just thought it was awesome. And I was actually watching Cooper Webb podium in his very first 450 podium, finishing third place. Absolutely ecstatic for that kid. Like, I just think, like, this is going to be the turning point for Cooper now in 450s. Like, he said that he wanted to, take it slow, work his way, not kind of go balls to the wall early on in the season, but I think this is going to really lock him in confidence-wise, ability-wise, and I think you're only going to go up from here.
Yeah, well, and I got to say, what's that?
By the end of the season, Cooper is going to win a 450 class.
Oh,
I would put money.
No doubt, especially the way the season's going. Like there's no doubt. I think Cooper, it's just time. It's just a matter of time, no doubt. I want to talk about the 450 points. So Dungey, Dungey, like we said, he's the locomotive. He just keeps clicking off points. But Tomac, he's making a run of this deal. He's 17 points back now.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Cool. I don't know. Now that Ken Roxon's out and Dungey's not on his, usually by this time, Dungey's already so far ahead in the points off everybody that it's kind of a battle for second. And I think Tomac is hungry and he's fed up, and it's about time that somebody else takes that red plate. And I think that if anybody can do it, Tomac can. And it's really funny where everyone was like, well, what was it? There was like a meme going around, everyone talking about like Super Bowl, and someone's like, did anybody not notice that Tomac actually beat Dungey this weekend? It was just, it was funny.
And the thing is, I don't even know where I was going with that. I had something in my mind. I lost it. But, I was going to talk about, you mentioned Roxon. So that crash, it looked horrible, right? So I was reading an article just this morning, and I didn't realize, like, people, I guess Roxon's crash, his arm injury was so bad that literally he was very close to losing his arm. And I didn't realize it was that bad, but I guess it was like, it was that bad. Like, so I don't know. It would just, it was one of those things. There's always shock value for the internet to get somebody to click and read, but it was from a legit moto site. And I started reading. I'm like, oh wow. Like it was seriously to the point where, he's fine now, but, it was that bad. So, I don't know. It's always scary.
That's really scary.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Talking 250s, though, Hood. McElrath, he has been uber consistent. He just keeps clicking off the podiums. But Justin Hill, he's on fire. He clipped McElrath. He's taken over the red plate by 1 point.
Yep. Good on him. Justin Hill, I know he's really confident this year. He's been putting in a lot of work in the off time. Nice guy. He's always like just a really nice kid. I've known him for a really long time, and I'm stoked to see him on top. He's always kind of been the bridesmaid and never the bride, and he's always been right there. And I think again, with Cooper out of 250s and Jeremy Martin out with concussion, it's McElrath or Justin Hill, and I think Justin has more time, and Justin is. I always use this term hungry because again, like these guys are hungry. Like he's been chasing a Supercross title and championship for, years now, and it's just about darn time. And I know he struggled when he moved to KTM. Like, he was struggling. I know he was unhappy. And, just with that switch to Kawasaki, I know he's just way more confident and happy, and it obviously shows.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a short break. When we come back, fan questions, Jim Beaver and Amy Hood here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and man, we're time to get into some fan questions. And let me see what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions. It's a 14-minute segment, Hood, so that means like we've got 2 minutes per question, so we can't go too long on them. How about that?
Okay, go.
All right, first one, this is actually from somebody in Arizona. Amy, Beth in Arizona. Amy, what has been the biggest challenge in going to Monster Jam?
Oh, okie-dokie. Let's see. So probably the biggest challenge, and I kind of talked about it earlier, is not being in control 200%. And I say that, well, A, because I feel like I'm 100% in control when I drive, so it has nothing to do with driving. It's mechanical, fan judges. In motocross, and the second I step on a dirt bike, I am ultimately responsible for my success. Obviously, chains falling off, tire, whatever. I mean, there's a little bit of risk for having mechanical on a dirt bike, but I've been very fortunate that I've never had that issue, really. AKA go Kim Hood, best mechanic ever, factory dad. But, yeah, it's just those little pieces of things that are out of my control. This weekend I was going into freestyle. My last event, I was second, and I was going to win the whole overall. I was only 3 points behind, and I went into freestyle, and my truck broke. Completely out of my control. I couldn't even make a pass. So, it's a little heartbreaking. It's a little discouraging, but that's what it is. And you just got to, pick your head up and move forward. So It's been challenging, though.
Yeah, welcome to off-road. That's pretty much it.
Wheels.
Yeah, it's
Four wheels. Yeah.
It's the variable. You just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this one was at me. This is somebody calling me out. All right, Mike in San Diego. Why have you been doing? What's that?
That means he's here where I'm at.
Yeah, Mike in San Diego. Why have you been doing some pavement stuff? Alex Rossi and Larry Mack aren't Action Motorsports. So, we are an Action Motorsports show, and you know what? Alex Rossi's a badass. He's won the Indy 500, and he went and drove rally cars at Race of Champions, so you can't call me out on that. He drove a rally car the weekend before. I don't care who it is. I'm going to interview you. You know, it could be Donald Trump. If he goes and runs a rally car, we're having him on the show. So there you go.
No, we're not.
No, so that was the whole deal with Alex Rossi, plus the Indy 500 winner. So what can I say? You know, I'm going to get him on. You know, same thing with Graham Rahal and Courtney Force, man. It was a good interview. And Larry Mack, that dude's a legend in broadcasting, and he started a podcast. And when a guy with 200,000 Twitter followers who is on Fox Sports or Fox every single weekend hosting NASCAR, interviewing Dale Earnhardt Jr., who is a crew chief of Dale Earnhardt Sr., and he asks if he can come on to my show and promote his new podcast, the answer is yes. And it's a yes 100 times over. So that's why those guys are on the show, and we're still doing things our way and the way we've always done it. And, you know, like Amy's got friends with Connor Daly, and we had him on the air last year, and he was an IndyCar driver. Like, we're going to cycle that stuff in once in a while. So I'm just saying it's we have fun. We change it up. It's a good mix of people. We're not getting away from dirt sports or anything. It's just, I don't know, once in a while we'll slide some stuff in, you know. So there you go. Thanks, Mike in San Diego. I like being called out once in a while. So I don't know.
Hey, you know, I have one thing to sum it up for that, Mike. We do what we want.
Yep.
We do what we want. We do what we want.
If you don't like it, start your own show.
We do what we want.
Yeah. So, all right, this one's for both of us. This is Michael in Florida. Man, Mike and Michael. I don't know what the deal is here. Michael in Florida. Florida's big motocross, moto state. Supercross this is like a statement. It's not really a question. Supercross without Roczen this year is kind of boring now. I don't know. I'm kind of finding it interesting. How about you, Amy?
No, I mean, it's definitely a letdown, but I mean, we got these big, heavy hitters. You know, Chad Reed made it on the podium. Tomac battling out with Dungey. I think this makes it for, I don't want to say a bet. It's not better. I think it makes it more interesting because I think it keeps the playing field, very, a little bit more saturated now. Like it's not, I think we're going to see different people on the podium every weekend. I mean, come on, Cooper Webb made it on the podium this weekend.
Yeah.
With Ken Roczen in the mix, it keeps it very consistent. And right now, it's all sorts of inconsistency, and I like that. I mean, it's anybody's game now.
How about that race 2 weeks ago? Chad Reed,
Yeah.
That was amazing. How can that not be boring? Reed going from 4th to 2nd on one straightaway and made Dungey, and I don't even know who he was racing against. Look, I think Seeley, right? Made him look like fools. Like, that is exciting to me. Like, holy crap. What do you mean boring? Like, I was on my feet yelling at the TV for Reed. Anytime you get me out of my chair when something's on TV, you know it's exciting. So, I don't know, man. I'm finding it kind of interesting. The whole Malcolm Stewart, I don't know. I think it's I don't know. I think it's just some good storylines. So, I tend to disagree with you. I think it scared a lot of people. But I don't know. I think Anderson's going to take a win at some point this year, too. So there's that storyline. I think Anderson, El Hombre, I think he's got some in the tank. I think he's going to make a run at this deal, too. So, yeah. All right. So here's a couple of questions kind of geared. I don't know. You can chime in on these. Here's a pretty easy one. What are my thoughts on the series future of Red Bull Global Rallycross? This is Alex in Florida. I don't know. So, I don't know. What are my thoughts on the series? Obviously, we just had Chris Leone from the series on air. I think it's trying to find its foothold in the U.S. It's still relatively new. I think, 5-6 years deep in it? I've worked for the series as an employee, I guess, or kind of for 2 years, and it's been a while since I have, but I still I don't know. They got an amazing TV package, probably the best in motorsports next to like NASCAR. So when you have live television on primetime networks, like you can't be bad. So I don't know. It's fine. It's changed. It used to be like action sports, and you had like, the late great Dave Mirra and Bucky Lasek driving rally cars, and now it's actually legit race car drivers. Not that they weren't, but I'm just saying it's kind of moved and changed. It went from an X Games sport to like a real motorsport. So I don't know. It's finding its way. TV ratings were really good last year for it. So, I don't know. They've still got some big name drivers behind it, good sponsors involved. So I don't know. I think wait and see. But tracks have got better, definitely. They were kind of, a crap show about 3-4 years ago, and that's honesty. And even the series will tell you that. So I don't know. I think it's moving. I don't want to say in a full positive direction, but it's definitely moving, in a positive direction. So I don't know. So that's my thoughts. So this one, Hood, this one was the one on Taylor Robert. So basically somebody walked up to me at the thing, and it was a moto kid, and he says, "Hey man," he says, "you got to get Taylor Robert back on your show." And I said, we probably should do that. But he goes, no. He says, "Have you been paying attention?" I said, "No." I said, "I know he went to Europe last year." And they said, "No, he's back in the United States. I guess he signed like a factory deal with KTM, and they brought him back to the States, and he's like the face of their he's racing Works this year, and doing on a factory KTM ride, and obviously we see him at King of the Motos." So he says, "What do you think about Taylor coming back to the U.S.?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "Going to Europe is." You've gone and raced in Europe, Hood. I mean, it's a different animal over there. And he was doing hard enduro in Europe. I mean, hard enduro, that is, like Erzberg and stuff. That is madness. So I don't know. I'm stoked he's back in the States. I think he's made a name for himself, kind of like Colton Haker is, kind of the guy that can make a career out of not racing motocross and supercross. I don't know. I like him. He's always fun when we have him on air too.
Oh no, Taylor's amazing. He's hilarious. He's a great character, and I think you just kind of go over to Europe to prove how tough you are, and then you come back and you just absolutely dominate here in the U.S. I think again, the people who go make that transition to over in Europe, you're gonna race some of the world's gnarliest and toughest terrains, and I think now being back in the U.S. is going to be a walk in the park for him. So
yeah,
he's well trained up and he's ready to rock.
What is the reception for a North American when they go to Europe? I mean, you felt it because you went and raced the World Championships over there. What was the reception for you? I mean, were you included? Was it like, here comes somebody over, to our side of the world? I mean, what was the feeling you got when you went over there?
Okay, well, I think it's very biased because I'm Canadian. How Europeans view Americans is very different. It's very competitive and cutthroat. Being a little Canadian chick, what do you think? Like, I loved it. I would go move over there just because of how well I got treated, and they especially.
I wanted to buy you drinks, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean they're just so nice, and everybody. It's such a bigger communal. The pits are very communal. Like everyone's hanging out and helping out, and everyone's inviting you over to their food tent and this food tent, and I got a different experience probably because I'm a female Canadian moto chick. I know, again, the Americans, they don't like Americans very much. It's European versus America. That's how it is. They think that Americans think that they are the alpha country of athletes to beat, where, that's why a lot of Europeans don't come over to the USA, is because they're already considered such gods over in Europe. I mean, it's a really different scale, so it's kind of how you choose to see it. Like I think the European tracks are a lot gnarlier and tougher, and the competition is a lot, stiffer for sure. The laps are longer. The tracks are way more natural terrain that get very, very rough and tough, and I just think it's a whole different ballgame over there. Yeah. But there's obviously more money and media and press and coverage of racing over in the U.S. But then again, you go back to European, I've never seen more people at a motocross race in my life, covered head to toe in their country's flags. All these countries come, it's so, everything's really close, so everybody comes in to support their own country, local racer. It's insane, the spectating. I mean, motorsports was invented and established over in Europe, so I think the fan involvement in any motorsport, whether that's F1 or motocross, is just on a whole different level over in Europe. So.
Yeah, I know it's the same way with rally and rallycross too. And anybody that's gone and race rallycross in Europe, and they come back to the States like, oh man, it's just a total different feel. That's why you've got Ken Block running over in Europe, instead of here in the States. But that's a whole different story there. But we got 2 quick questions left. One's more of a statement. Desert and short course, more please. This was Charles in SoCal. And I don't know, we had first hour was pretty much desert racing today. So I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. It's, we're an action motorsports show. We're going to talk a little bit of everything. When short course season starts firing up, we're going to start getting the Keegan Kincaids and Johnny Greaves on air. But until then, there's not a lot to talk about, so we talk about everything else. So, it's kind of where we're at, man. We bounce around a bit, and depends on what's going on. That's what we talk about here. So, and then this one, Vaughn Gittin, Chris Forsberg, Ryan Turk, Tyler McQuarrie, they've all started dabbling in off-road. What are your thoughts on that, Larry in Washington? They're all drifters. I'm assuming he's making the tie like our drifters coming to off-road. I don't know. I think they've been welcomed with open arms. I love having them in here. They're all big-name drivers in drift. I mean, shoot, you got 3 of the OGs there. 2 of them are champions. McQuarrie can drive anything. Turk has got one of the most massive social media followings out of anybody in motorsports. So, I don't know, having them come to off-road, I welcome them, man. My arms are wide open for guys like that to come over. So, I don't know, just kind of my thoughts on it. I don't know, everybody's welcome in off-road, man. We're an all-inclusive motorsport. We're going to take a short break. We come back, Amy Hood and I, we're going to wrap things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and I don't know, we got a couple minutes left to wrap things up. Another fun show. Where are you headed this weekend, Hood?
I am heading out to Pittsburgh. That's where
you had to think about it for a while.
I got to get my American geography a lot better.
Pittsburgh, PA. Home of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just telling you, you want to be a fan favorite on on the mic there in Pittsburgh. Mention something about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and swear you're going to be a fan favorite right there. Just mention the Steelers.
Go buy a Steelers jersey.
Oh, if you came out with a Steelers jersey, the crowd would go nuts. They would literally.
Really, is that big of a fan?
They would give you the key to the city. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to do now.
Seriously, I'm just telling you, they are, like, if there's a football city in America, it is Pittsburgh. Like, seriously. Yeah, they're rabid fan base there. I'm just telling you how to win over the crowd.
That's why I told you I need it. So.
Yeah. They've got the Penguins there for hockey, and they've got the Pirates, but like it's not the same. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like seriously, they're the most diehard fan base anywhere in the country. So, you definitely went over the crowd there.
All right, I know exactly what I'm going to do now.
All right. Well, upcoming events, we got more Supercross, Mint 400 a few weeks out, King of the Hammers this weekend. Got to give a big shout-out to all of our partners here in the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, KC Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, Terracross, Florida Resort and Casino. Give me a follow. It's at JimBeaver15. Amy is Amy Hood 71. Don't forget that coupon code for Dirtfish is JB Dirtfish. Rate, review, subscribe to Project Action. Also, BlueApron.com. You want 3 free meals? Use the link BlueApron.com/Beaver. That's from the other podcast, but what the heck, man? I'll give away 3 free meals here on this show as well. Anybody here that wants them, but I don't know. It's been a fun show, Hood. Have some fun there in Pittsburgh, and I don't know. You got anything before we leave?
No, I'm just excited to go and get my Steelers jersey and be able to win over these fan judges. And,
all right.
Kick Craig Digger to the curb.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next week here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.